Gliders are essentially, think of them as flying mounts, but really cool flying mounts. You can summon anywhere with lots of abilities, and we're going to showcase how you get them, how you can craft them, how you can buy them, what they do, how they differ from each other, and then we're going to fly a couple of them. We know a lot of you have a lot of questions about Founders Packs. I can already see the chat doing its thing. That's cool. We know you're excited. That's awesome. For this particular live stream, we're not actually going to answer questions about Founder Packs just yet. I'm sure a lot of you saw on the forums that we talked about how they're going to be available in a matter of hours. I think it was said 24 hours from that post earlier this morning, so obviously less than 24 hours now. But again, for right now, we're focusing on gliders. And I guess you guys already know me. I'm Scapes in the forums. I'm your community manager. Randall, why don't you tell them about what you do for ArcheAge?
I'm Kendall. I'm an English localization editor, so I help edit the translated text that you're all going to see in the game, which is pretty fun.
I apologize for getting the name wrong.
Hey, no problem.
Busy day. So basically, we got Scape Explorer here, and you'll see Kendall on the character you're familiar seeing Miss Victoria on usually. Firecat over there. And you'll notice that my guy doesn't actually have anything on his back right now. This is because there's no glider currently in that slot. And what we're going to do actually is craft the first glider that you normally get through questing.
So you normally get your first glider in the second area, which is, you know, your low teens and level-wise, and it allows you to glide, but not very far or very fast. So we're going to show that first basic glider, and then show you some of the cooler stuff later.
Yeah. So actually, let's pop open our folio over here. As anyone who's been following any of the ArcheAge streams, I know there have been a lot of them, has been paying attention, the crafting in ArcheAge is kind of pivotal, kind of important. So actually we're going to go into machining here. You'll see there's, again, as we mentioned on a previous show about the skills of the game, here you'll see machining will have vehicle, siege gear, and then, of course, gliders. Now, I've helped us out a little bit in that I've already gotten us all the materials you have to get to actually build this glider. This actually, again, same glider you're going to get from your quests, just gives you another way to get it. For crafting gliders, you're going to need the design, and the design you can actually only get from Mirage Island, and the, excuse me, but then you're going to need, as you might imagine, for if you were to actually build your own glider in the real world, you're going to need lumber, some leather, some fabric, and some iron ingots. I'm actually already at the carpentry workbench, which got right here, and then what we're going to do is just use the machine tools. It's going to reopen machining. I already had it open, but it's okay. And then we're just going to craft our first glider right here. Just going to use this workbench, pound on it a bit, crafting the glider. I guess I'm already teasing what we got going ahead with the inventory open. You didn't see that. As you'll see, not only did I get the experimental glider, but also I got experience for crafting. As we've mentioned, I don't know how many times now, crafting is a completely viable way to get through the game. You don't have to go through the quests. You don't have to head first for that exclamation mark. You can actually go straight to crafting, straight to collecting, and it's a completely viable way to get through the game. So I've now crafted my first glider. Oh, we got Extract here, one of our first alpha testers. Hello there. And then we're actually going to equip that glider. You'll actually see the N here in the inventory indicating that's a new item that just entered my inventory. I'm going to equip it, and it's actually going to appear there on my back. Kind of looks like a shield, isn't actually a shield. We've actually set this character. It's a, let's see. Oop, there we go. I didn't even notice people behind me. Hello.
That is quite a party.
That is quite a party. Man, that's the thing about live streaming, you know. People are going to pay attention to where you're at. That's perfectly fine, though. With the with this character, we've actually set it so that when I double space, it's going to automatically deploy the glider. So that's really handy if you're running towards the end of a cliff, like, say, that one over there someplace. And as actually just demonstrated by Brandwolf there in the distance, essentially, you don't have to catch the wind. You don't have to be at a certain height. You can just, at any given point, just double. There we are. And if you don't run into things like I did over here, you're actually going to continue to glide. Now, you're not going to glide very far, as you can tell. You're going to glide a pretty good distance, but not too much.
So the experimental glider loses altitude pretty quickly. It is something you get for free in one of these starter quests, and very soon after that you can upgrade it. In fact, only a couple levels after you should get it, you can jump to Mirage Isle and actually upgrade it to a more advanced version, which flies further, faster, and has some boost to it, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. And actually, just to showcase it here, you have the, excuse me. Oh, somebody dancing right by. We've got the glider over here, the experimental glider, but you also can see in the craftable window here in the folio, you'll see that it actually requires the experimental glider and the next design for improved glider to upgrade. So you're actually taking this item that you already have and just making it better. We can actually head over to that area, I think. Let's go. I wonder if this entourage is going to follow us. Sorry, we're leaving the party early. That's how we roll.
Get enough people in the air, it's still look cool.
So we're actually heading to Mirage Isle. This is basically, think of as the virtual mall of the game. You're going to find everything from, as you can see here in the images, from vehicles, but also housing. And then my personal favorite, you also have the submarines here in the area as well. But we're going to head over to the gliders. I'm actually going to do a little quick glide over here to get us down there. You'll notice actually when you glide in, you do not take fall damage. Normally I would be demonstrating fall damage. That seems to be my thing. But
if you drop out of it while you're flying, you will take fall damage.
This is a very good point. So you actually see that, that little R there indicating a full glider. Now, if I'm only doing it from a couple feet, I'll be fine. If I do it from, well, a cliff, as I am wont to do, I think I've dropped more than once from gliders when I really didn't intend to, bad stuff happens. Gravity works. So actually you'll see here, oh, we did get some followers, that's great. So actually you'll see over here, this is the enhanced glider. And pulling up folio once more. Sorry, that's the enhanced, that comes after the improved. So here on Mirage Island, you're actually going to see the different gliders that are available to you. These are the designs you can pick up.
Right, so if you're going up to the enhanced glider, you're going to get a boost, which hopefully we can equip and show you.
Yeah.
You'll be able to fly further and kind of avoid obstacles or regain altitude that you've lost while you're flying, which makes it infinitely more useful than your standard free glider. It also isn't very expensive to upgrade, so very soon after you get that quest, I highly recommend just jumping over to Mirage Isle and upgrading your glider as quickly as possible.
So we're going to do it even faster than that because we just have it in inventory. As you can see, different look. Actually, kind of goes with this nice armor I'm wearing. But then to also demonstrate, when we actually deploy this guy, you'll see that where that R was, we have some other options.
Right, so if you hit T, you're going to hit the boost.
Oh boy.
There. And so that should give you a lot further distance and allow you to kind of hop over things that would normally stop you if you run into them and fall to the ground.
I'm very glad that we're in a neutral area because
I like
otherwise
this is great.
This is kind of fantastic. Although I think we'd be in a dogfight if I wasn't careful. So then we also have Y over here, as you can see some of the other guys using.
Right, so if you are in the air and there are enemies around you, you can use hostile abilities like that. Anyone who takes damage while in their glider will immediately close their glider and fall to the ground, which means being able to avoid damage in a glider is incredibly useful.
So while I mentioned that you don't need to catch the wind or anything, you don't have to be in a certain area, it does help to be at the top of a nice cliff so you can actually showcase things a bit better. As you can see from all the activity going on below us. Man, they're actually demonstrating this kind of nicely.
Yeah, I like the group. It's nice.
It is. I also like that they can't attack me. That helps. So, but as you'll see, you know, this is the series of gliders you're actually going to be crafting up and improving. You may have noticed that we had a couple more options there in the...
Yeah, let's show off some cooler stuff. Make these guys jealous.
Yeah. So, let's see. Gonna run back up the hill. It's like sledding. This guy back up the... There we go. Wow, a lot of folks. So, let's see. What do we want to show off next?
Let's start with the Feathered Dragon Glider.
Feathered Dragon Glider. Now, I know
I think it's that big blue one there.
Big blue one. There we are.
Perfect.
That's it. No, I'm not going to join a raid right now, guys. Okay, let's get that blue one on. Yep. Equip.
So I've been told that this is the glider you received from killing the Kraken, which makes it very good indeed.
Mm-hmm. Looks nice, too.
So if you pop that out and try and get past these guys,
there we go.
You'll notice that if you hold the bat key, which I believe is S for you, you will cease to lose altitude. You can glide for as long as you have time to on this glider, unless someone tries to shoot you down, which means it can go for much further than many of the gliders in the game. And it's obviously very hard to get.
Nice turning radius, too.
Oh, it's got, if you look at the stats, it's got high on almost everything.
I just wanted to showcase
Yeah.
the pretty. So actually, what are these green ones that they've got?
That, I believe, is the level 20 glider. And you receive it as part of a quest.
Cool.
That automatically hits you.
I absolutely...
And there's fall damage.
So there is fall damage. That's my line. Okay, got a little bit of a fall stun, but I'm all right. I'm still with it. Looks like a couple other people fell as well, judging by their health. So,
I think they came to heal you.
Oh, that's exactly what they're doing. Aw. So, again, that's just one of the variety that are available.
Right. So why don't we show the green scale glider next?
Okay.
So this looks very much like the one they're normally receiving, but it has a very interesting ability on top of that.
Okay. We're almost at the top. This armor's heavy. All right, once more. Ooh, my.
So we mentioned earlier that if you take damage while you're gliding, your glider will close up and you fall. This is used to stop people from boarding your ships, or to stop them from invading your castle, or just for hilarious dogfights. This particular glider has a little blue button at the bottom there, which makes it temporarily invincible, which means you could avoid closing up your glider and get to where you wanted to go. You could successfully land on a ship, successfully invade a castle, or just not get knocked out of your glider at 1,000 feet, all of which are handy.
Excellent.
Should I give it a shot?
Yeah.
Oh, you already did.
Oh, I did, yeah.
I did the little glow there.
Yeah, as you can see the little cooldown. But, yeah.
So this one also has a smoke screen ability, which
There
you
it
can
is.
hit, which has a nice effect as you're flying along.
Oh, that's fun. So if anyone wants to do any skywriting, basically.
Right, mainly for show, this one. The invincibility is much more useful.
I don't know, I've almost got an S of scapes up here. I just need a couple more folks. And trees. That's what happens when I don't look where I'm going.
So invincibility is one way to avoid damage. Once you get back to the hill, why don't we show off the goblin glider?
Let's do it. I'm just going to run up the hill here. Whee! So the characters in red here, they're just from the opposing faction.
Yes. But they cannot attack you because this is Mirage Isle.
Which I am very happy for.
All right, let's see if you still have the goblin glider.
Sure hope so.
I believe it is that purple one up there.
Purple. Sure
Yes. Oh, red.
Okay. So again, just to show off how it looks.
So this one's got a very interesting design.
Yeah.
I doubt many of these guys will have seen this before.
I also like the accordion effect. That should look pretty good going out.
And you'll see why when you open it.
Alrighty, here we go. Oh man. Now that is cool. So again, I'm seeing some familiar ones, but also a new one over here.
Right, teleportation. So it doesn't give you invulnerability, but you can still dodge many projectile attacks if you're quick enough. One way of doing that is by having a small teleport idea. Why don't you hit it a couple times and see if you can get it to happen multiple times. Boom. So like many teleportation abilities in this game, it can ignore the cooldown for a brief time if you spam it, basically. So that allows you to get somewhere very quickly or dodge some attacks that would knock you out of the sky.
Or this armada behind me, for instance.
Or an entire army chasing you around Mirage Isle.
Very cool. Excellent. So, what else we got?
Let's see. Why don't we show the Moon Shadow Glider next?
I know I saw that one. There it is. Now, is this the one that we secretly call the Batman glider?
Pretty much.
Okay. So, rather than just around the hill, I guess I'll just do it down here.
All right, so the Moon Shadow Glider actually has a stealth ability, which not only avoids damage because they can't see you, but lets you get into a tactical position you wouldn't normally be able to accomplish. If you can get some altitude there, you can show that off.
Let's run up the hill again. Why not? Whee! Running, running, running. I'm actually very impressed that they're all keeping up and flying information. It's almost as if they were watching the stream or something. To the person who asked if I don't have a mount, I do. I completely forgot to use it.
It's a short run.
Yeah. All right. Now let's actually give this thing a proper flight. Or test flight.
All right, so that bottom ability should be Stealth, which, as you can see, makes you and your glider invisible for a short time. If they're close enough, they'll be able to see you.
I can't see it.
Right.
Obligatory joke.
As stealth does work in this game, they can still see if they're close enough, but at any reasonable distance, you should be able to avoid detection and get to where you're trying to go.
So did the Nitro actually drop me out of the stealth?
Yes. Using any other ability should drop you out of stealth.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Now these gliders, as you can see, we have a couple of them for sale as designs here in Mirage. How else can we get them? You mentioned the Kraken.
There was the Kraken. You can craft many of them. Some of them are available only from quests. The basic one we know is from the starter quest. But the most famous example we're showing is that Feather Dragon, which you get, apparently, from killing the Kraken.
Gotcha. Okay. I think we got definitely a few more to show off.
There is at least the Red Dragon, which has a very fun ability.
Again, a little more subtle on the design this time, but I believe...
You might have to leave Mirage Isle to use the Red Dragon. Let's give it a shot in here and see if it works. Because this one actually has an offensive ability.
Aha.
So maybe if you select one of the opposing faction players, you can dive bomb them.
Let's give it a shot.
If not, we'll have to jump out.
I don't have any opposing faction anymore. They're all on my side. So I guess we're going to have to find a mob out in the real world and hope that these fine alpha testers don't kill it before I do.
Why don't you try gliding back towards that hill and see if any of them are sitting around. I'm not sure you can use the ability here. It is a neutral area.
Okay, let's give it a shot. I think I've targeted his cow mount, unfortunately, but or unfortunate for the cow, not for me. But let's see. Looks like I won't be able to do it here on Mirage. As we mentioned, Mirage is definitely a neutral territory. No combat here.
So we can either skip this one or jump out and show it off.
As you can see, someone else is demonstrating one of the test drive vehicles down there. But let's see. So you're saying, Justin, we go outside? We can go do that, definitely. I'd actually need to put that, really do need to put that mount on a hotkey down here. There we go. Shift 4.
Well done.
Yeah. Wow. Congrats are on Thrill. That was well timed, I gotta say. Get on the horse. There we are. So what we're doing is just going to be exiting the area. It's Guild PRX. Nice guys. Met with them at PAX East.
And there is the famous dancer of Mirage Isle.
It's true. There he is, dancing away. Has been since the start of Alpha. Man, loves dancing. I wonder if we're going to have people outside. I'm not sure.
I think there'll be a couple.
There might be a few. So I guess while I go and try to find a mob before we load in, or actually while I try to find a mob that isn't already taken care of by one of our fine alpha testers, what is your personal favorite part of ArcheAge so far?
Well, actually, this is interesting because we're talking about gliders, and as strange as it... Oh, good. There's a harpoon ship.
Oh, a land ship.
As strange as it may sound, my favorite part is the hidden locations you can discover throughout ArcheAge, and you can only reach some of them with a good enough glider because they are so high that you couldn't possibly glide straight or down to them, and you have to be able to gain altitude to get there. And so I spend most of my time in this game running around collecting rewards for finding secret locations and trying to find people to PvP.
I believe Extract totally got on my mount. So as you can see, we have 2-player mounts.
He wants to come along.
He does, yeah.
I believe if you head...
Which way do you think?
Yeah, just out left would work.
Okay, out and left. I know we saw some on the way in. Except we said that last live stream too.
There's one.
There we go. Okay.
Right, hop off your horse.
Let's do that. And give this a shot. Alrighty. And dive bomb.
Boom.
Oh, that was quick.
Right, well that was a low-level unit.
Yes.
But the idea being that instead of having to glide down, which is
Efficient,
actually a
though.
problem unless you have a dive bombing ability or the lose altitude ability, you can do some damage and immediately close with your opponent.
I guess I'll go try to find another one here.
Has a bit of a cooldown on that, you might not be able to.
Ah, gotcha, okay. Well,
So we have one more pretty cool looking glider.
Please.
It's the Ezi glider.
the Azure?
Ezi,
Oh, the
Easy
Ezi,
Eye.
ah,
I think it's this fairy looking one here. Perfect.
There we go.
Everyone wants
Lot
you
of
to be in
healing
full
going
health.
on. Yes. Not having repeated the last time. So this
some
one-
people like the very intimidating looking gliders, some people like very pretty gliders, and this is one of them.
This is definitely a pretty one. All right, here we go. Nice loft. Good
And it
distance.
has a whole range of abilities. It's got the altitude boost, and it's got invincibility,
Oh,
and it's got some
wow.
offensive capabilities. So it's actually a very good glider as well.
Absolutely. So I noticed the stealth didn't proc. Is that just because I was?
That wasn't
carrying?
stealth, that was invincibility.
That was invincibility.
It
That would
just
be
didn't.
why. I was so used to the other one. And then, of course, we haven't shown off the bombing yet, which I didn't actually angle that well. So
There's a couple offensive abilities. There's a small range attack for air combat. There's a couple
Barrage.
land attacks, and some larger attacks later on.
I feel badly for my horse, who I'm actually bombing right now. Excellent. Wow, lots of folks. So, were there any others that we haven't gone around to yet?
That's about it. We can go through the list for any bonuses, but I think the last one might be the Allies' Wings. Should be up there.
Mm-hmm. The corrupt
down
allies.
one?
Down one. The
There,
pure allies.
yeah.
All right.
So I don't think we've shown off the wing design.
Not yet. Sure enough.
There's a
Actually
couple that
looks
have this on it.
like wings. It's nice. Let's see. Let's try and actually find a small cliff here, at least. Properly showcase this. That's a hill. That works. Okay. So this has a unique ability, I imagine.
It's actually the look we want to show off here. This one has the nice boost, and it has ground attacks. It also has the barrel rolls, which are interesting. We're talking about dodging abilities. This is partially just because it looks cool, and partially, if you're good enough, you could dodge some projectile attacks using that barrel he just used in either direction.
Now, can I use the barrel in conjunction with the smoke screen?
I've never tried.
Ah, I have insufficient.
You've used
glider
up all your
smoke
smoke screen. We'll never find out.
Oh, at least not on this live stream. And then the other one is simply a different color, or
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So those who want, actually, for me with my dark armor here, this is much more of a better fit. This actually is a different one, isn't it?
Nope, it's the same.
Is it
I
the
mean,
same
it's a different coloration, but it's the same design.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Now, what's interesting is actually this is very close to the style of one we may be seeing, I think, later on today.
Yes.
A little bit after the live stream. Again, that whole 24-hour thing we mentioned. We may or may not have a special something coming with that. It actually looks fantastic as well. A little more red. But let's see. So we've actually not exhausted the full list, but I guess if we want to take a couple of questions again, questions about gliders or ArcheAge
Sure.
in general, we'll touch on Founder stuff when we get to that point.
You seem better at picking these out than I do.
No
Do you have
worries.
any suggestions?
So actually, yeah, if you just scroll up on the queue there, we'll actually stop it from scrolling quite so quickly. We'll be able to actually go through them. Let's see. So I guess starting from the top, we're asking people about being able to color your gliders. While we do have dye in the game, I don't believe the gliders themselves can be adjusted.
I don't believe it applies to gliders, no.
It does not apply to gliders.
That is, whoop, all right. That's mainly for your ships and items in the game and cloaks and armor and stuff like that.
Yep. Let's see, scrolling on through. I see some folks have already identified the Glass Phoenix as the one we may or may not be alluding to. But let's see, what else do we have here? I think if we look at questions for gliders, actually scroll in the opposite direction, we'll see a few more.
All right, you want to scroll all the
Yeah.
way down?
Yep. Let's see here. Let's see.
Any gliders that have more than a 2-minute maximum? Yes, the starting glider has a very short maximum flight time, which I learned to my death, actually. I tried to glide from the top of a mountain and died immediately. well, 2 minutes later. The better gliders, as you saw with that feathered dragon, actually has a much larger time. Why don't you open that up? It's the blue one there.
Blue one, yes.
And just hop on it so you can see the glider.
Yeah.
And that buff in the top left of your screen shows that you have 9 minutes and a little bit extra. So it's actually a 10-minute countdown, which can, and because this one does not lose altitude, that means you can fly straight for 10 solid minutes, which could cover almost a continent, which is pretty impressive.
As you'll notice, I'm actually just not dropping, whereas our peers here, unfortunately, do not have this mount. Sorry, this glider.
Are there level requirements for gliders? Absolutely. So the first one you can use is that one we showed off at the very beginning. And then you need higher and higher levels to use better and better gliders as you keep leveling in the game. So by the time you have your starter glider, you should be in the low teens anyway. And so again, I highly recommend you bump up to the experimental glider by just using a crafting table and getting the designs in Mirage Isle, because as soon as you're 15, you have a much better version of your starting glider.
So as you see here with the experimental, you know, it starts off with a minimum level of 1, but then you'll be growing from 10 to 15 and so on and so forth.
Right.
So I'm actually not only not losing altitude here, I'm gaining altitude.
Right. I only know of 2 gliders right now that do that, and they're both amazing.
How do I get down? Carefully, I'm
You stop pressing back.
Right. So I will actually slowly descend as long as I'm not using S or pulling back on the glider. You can see the party all down there.
When can you first go to glider? I think we covered that a little earlier, but your first glider you should receive in the second area of the game through one of the tutorial quests.
I think we're estimating about level 15 for that.
I think you get it slightly before that, but very soon you should be 15, and 15 is when you can use that upgraded version that we talked about.
Somebody asked a really excellent question about actually what is the square mileage of the map. I've actually been wondering that myself, and it's something which I will work to find the answer for, because I'm curious on that front. All I know is that it's gigantic, for those who haven't seen it lately. You're looking at the entire world map here. Just quickly, you're going to see the 3 continents, but then also we have the sea here as well, which is actually as large as any of the continents and is a gigantic PvP area. So big is the answer to your question. Let's see.
Will gliders play a large role in all aspects of the game? Absolutely. If you see any ship-to-ship combat, you're gliding between ships. If you're trying to take a castle, you're usually gliding over these walls. Exploration and fast travel. I mean, as you know, if you're playing, your mount can't run for very long before it goes back to a standard walk. And so a lot of gliders actually travel faster than you could walk on your mount or than you could run as a regular person.
So actually, we have less of a special guest, more of a regular
Kendall
guest.
was our special guest.
Yes.
Slide on over, sir. Let me
Yeah.
get in.
Will do.
No, you're still driving.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, guys. Can you guys hear me okay?
You'll actually want to scroll
wait,
down.
hang
You'll
on.
be able to see
I
the
can
answers.
actually see the bottom here.
Just quickly, the question about how many times you can switch on and off abilities, it's on a cooldown, much like your spells.
Okay, there. I should actually be here now.
Ah, there we go.
So that's actually Skype, I think you turned on.
There. Maybe.
I'll scoot coast
Okay,
just
they
in
can hear
case.
you.
All right,
so-
awesome.
All
Great.
right,
You
that's
guys
all that
can hear me.
matters.
I'm like, I snuck in the door and I put on the mic, real quiet like. So the reason that I wasn't here to start the stream, and the reason that Kendall so graciously joined us, by the way, you have to come back.
Yes.
Everybody upstairs is like, oh, he is awesome.
Oh,
He
God.
works so great on the stream.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will please go to archeage.trionworlds.com. There might be a little surprise there for you. In fact, I will type it in the chat. If I can stop shaking. This is so cool. Go there.
It's there in the chat.
No, we have no founders packs for $1,000. That's a lot. That's a little expensive.
Too much for us.
That's
Too rich for our
a little
blood.
expensive.
Yep. Now, we're really excited
Spam the
to...
barrel roll. Can
The
we
barrel,
spam
yeah.
barrel roll?
So barrel is actually not on this one. I'm
Oh,
gonna
no, we're on
have
the
to.
wrong glider.
I'll have to get down first. I'm gonna find and actually I was gonna say I'm gonna find a nice
you
patch
could
of
die.
water.
I thought I saw them wanting to see fall damage earlier.
Oh, they.
Again, did I not crash into enough trees
showed
before?
I was
You
busy
probably
watching
survived this
some-
drop. No
All right.
problem. You're level 50.
There
go for
we
it.
go. Let's prep those airbags.
You can
You're fine.
So there's fall damage in this game.
Yep.
So if you reduce below a certain percentage of your hit points, you're actually stunned for a short time,
As
which
you can see
means
there.
large falls are incredibly deadly if there are enemies around you.
Yes.
So now we actually have the somersault one.
Now, of course, you're down low, so it's going to be a little bit harder.
But at least we can showcase it over this way. Hopefully I won't run right into that spider, even though I can probably take it. So here again is that somersault ability with a 5-second cooldown. Gonna boost up so I don't crash.
Don't crash into the spiders, that could be dangerous.
I've been practicing.
You have been practicing. You're so much better than when we did this first.
Really proud. So as you can see, it actually can be used to avoid incoming fire, and is handy in that regard. But again, back to the big thing that we just revealed.
Absolutely. We have Founders Packs now on sale. So we are very, very happy to be able to launch those today. We have a number of different Founders Packs. All of them include a head start and access to all of our beta events. Again, the alpha server that we're playing on right now is going to be open pretty much the entire time from now to open beta, except for when we have beta events. And then everybody from alpha, as well as everyone who buys a Founders Pack and folks who get keys in other ways, can go ahead and play on the betas during the beta events. And we have another land barge.
That is a party boat.
That is a party boat. They even
Yes.
have a donkey.
Yes, they do. We have party boats. We have multiple horses and donkeys and all kinds of different mounts.
Speaking of flying vehicles, I have always been curious if that boat can harpoon itself onto an airship. So if anyone would like to try an alpha and get back to us, that would be awesome.
That would be kind of fun. Actually, I'm about to build one myself. So, and that took, what, about 5 seconds? But yeah, so very cool. When is beta? Beta is coming soon. We are targeting June. We have a couple more integration pieces to get through with XL that we are actively working on with engineers from both crews. So hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah. But let's see. Beyond that, we're excited that you guys are excited, and I
So
guess
it's really cool. Well,
yeah.
we can talk about what's in Founders Packs.
we actually can.
We can. We can
So-
finally talk about it.
So that's the thing
Oh my
too, is
God,
that
it's been trying to talk about it, and we want to talk about it for so
we had this
long.
entire like skit we were gonna do where Victoria was gonna be doing the live stream all serious, and I was gonna go like, "There's Founder Packs coming," and we're gonna do this whole thing, and so we were a little bummed that we couldn't do that, but we're still glad that we can reveal it here on the stream for you. That's beyond exciting.
Which is kind of, and you know, it's one of the funs about doing the stream is we get to do stuff like this, which is so cool.
Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't already hopped on over and taken a look at it, in each of the packs, like I mentioned before, you have access to all of our beta events. You will have access to a head start. During that head start, you will have VIP permissions. You will have patron status in that head start, so you can go ahead during the betas, figure out how you want to play the game, what you want to do, the best place to put your house or your farm, and then you're going to have 4 days head start to go ahead and do that and set that up, which will be really kind of cool. That will be included. You'll also get, in the patron status, you will have the ability to gain loyalty tokens, and those are going to give you little tokens that you can turn into a store that you can use to do things like get your tax certificates. So if you have a small house or just one nice farm, you can go ahead and pay your taxes as part of being a subscriber, which is really cool. And just a reminder, you're going to be able to get access to that stuff as well through in-game activities with our version of Rex, which is a thing in Rift that you can go ahead and buy from players, trade it on the auction house, being traded on the auction house, and you can use that to give yourself patron status. So you don't have to actually use real money. You can just work really hard in-game and gain gold for it, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, every pack also has additional patron status. So you get an extended time. It's not just the 4 days. You get, I think the lowest one is 34 days of patron time. So that should be a lot of fun. Certainly time to set up your house and get ready and get set, which will be cool. We've got gliders in every one of the packs. Depending on the pack, you get a different glider. The lowest level pack, the silver, has a glider that's very close to the experimental glider that you guys saw earlier. And the later ones have a glider which isn't in this build. We actually got the build with it like yesterday. So it's not on alpha yet. And that one is super cool. It does the somersaults. And it's this gloss, like red see-through color. It's awesome. We will show it off as soon as we can get the build up.
Absolutely.
Which would be cool.
So actually, I could pull up the web page if we want to do that. Or
I can just talk through it. I kind of have
that's
it memorized.
fine. Absolutely, yeah.
We also have a costume in the gold and the Archeum packs. By the way, neat fun fact: the packs are actually named after the rare gold that you get in the game. They're the rare ore that you get in the game. When you mine an iron ore, you have a chance of having it spawn a Fortuna vein, which you get rare ore from, and you can get silver, gold, and Archeum out of those ores, which is very cool. Right, so different gliders in each one, the really, really cool ones, pretty, the higher end ones. There are still much better gliders that you can craft, or you can kill the Kraken and get a really awesome glider if you can manage to pull that one off.
No one has yet.
Yeah, a lot of people in Alpha have been visiting the Kraken and not really killing the Kraken.
Visiting is such a charitable word.
The Kraken does tend to win.
I watch the live streams. It's usually how they end their live stream, is by finding the Kraken.
I think the Kraken is the one who knocks. I'm not sure. But
Nice.
so I'm seeing a lot of questions, actually a repeated question about when we will be wiping.
We won't be wiping until right before we go live. So Alpha is going to remain. There's no plans to wipe. There is no guarantee that suddenly we won't have a change that will cause us to. But at this point, there are no plans to wipe until, actually, there's not really plans to wipe Alpha. And Beta will maintain, so we're going to bring the servers down in between betas. They'll be on a different server than Alpha, or different servers than Alpha, so that if you have a house on Beta, you won't be charged taxes while the servers aren't up, so you don't have to worry about that. Your house will be there when you come back.
Nope.
And you can maintain that house and farm from beta to beta to beta, and we will be wiping right before head start. So you'll start fresh with a head start. Also, one thing really quickly, there's items and credits and patron status all in the Founders Packs. If you do buy a Founders Pack, you get to get all of that on beta, and then when we wipe, we give it back to you again. So you can play it with it twice.
To the person who who asked about patron status running out when they have a house, we've actually mentioned this, I think, in a couple of the live streams, but long and short, essentially, without patron status, you can't actually pay the taxes. So what will happen is that you'll have a 2-week window, and then after which your house will actually be returned to you along with everything inside of it. We're not taking that. It's not taking.
Well, not everything, but most things.
Most things, forgive me. And then the land will just become available for someone else to claim.
If you purchase the Archeum pack, do you get alpha access immediately? Yes. Your receipt should actually give you instructions on how to download the game. If it doesn't, I need to go yell at somebody.
Time to go level my character.
We might have a few more players.
To the folks asking about the caption contest, one, thank you everyone who entered in that. I think we ended up with about 2,500 entries.
I know.
So there goes my reading list for early spring, but it's all right. We'll be going through them as quickly as we can and pick the winners. If people weren't aware, we actually increased the number of winners from 3 to 10. Okay. So we're looking forward to getting them in alpha as quickly as we can, as soon as we've identified them.
It should be pretty fun.
Yeah.
If you don't buy...
If you don't buy a pack, does your house despawn?
That's a hard question. So if you buy a pack, you get patron status, and you get to have your house and pay taxes while you have patron status. If you don't buy a pack, you can still either purchase patron status or earn it through in-game by buying it from someone else who has purchased it. And so once you have that, you get your house. The key is the patron status, not the pack, for keeping your house.
Mm-hmm. And then somebody else was asking actually about the stats attached to the titles. Essentially, we actually have, the titles actually all do have stats in them.
Yes, every one of the titles have stats, as well as the cloak. One of the sort of really interesting things about ArcheAge is that most of the items in the game have stats of some variety. Sometimes it's crafting statistics, crafting skills. It's been a long day. Yeah. Crafting skills, or sometimes it's combat skills. Sometimes it's different things. And what's really cool is that you can craft. You can't craft titles, but you can gain them. in-game, and you can craft costumes that have additional stats. So even if you don't want to buy a Founders Pack, and you don't want to buy a costume in the game, you can buy them from other players with gold and still fill up that slot and make sure you get stats in there. There was a question that my brain just lost. Keep going.
Sure. So I think I saw another question about how the titles are actually being given out for the different columns. Essentially, the Arcane will get all 3 titles. So you'll get the Founder, the Traveler, and the Trailblazer. The Silver will get the Founder and the Traveler, and the Gold will get the first 2, and the Silver will get simply Founder.
Right. I saw a quick question I wanted to address, and someone was asking about playing from Australia on different servers. We don't lock any of our servers as far as GeoIP, so it's completely up to you where you want to play. We will have servers both in the States and in Europe. And play with your friends. Really, the only thing is if you have a lot of lag, don't build a build that needs high ping rates. There are plenty of builds that don't, so there's nothing stopping you from playing.
Absolutely.
Can I get into beta just by buying a subscription?
So we haven't announced our our patron subscriptions yet. We will be announcing those closer to launch, but you can buy the lower end, the Silver Patron Pack, Silver Founders Pack, which includes a month of patron status, and get into betas that way. We are also, just want to be clear, we are also going to be doing beta key giveaways through different sites. As well as through this live stream itself. So if you don't want to buy a Founders Pack, you still will have an opportunity to get into the betas and also into alpha. We are going to continue to be offering folks who really stand out and show us that they really want to help the community, whether it's they're doing stuff now, they're live streaming right now, or they have an idea. Scapes has a thread on the forums to talk about your ideas. They could be wikis, they could be projects. Someone was talking about a YouTube series talking about the different classes. If you're interested in doing that kind of stuff, please post on that thread. We are actively looking for folks to help out, and we will be inviting some of those folks into alpha.
I think actually one of my favorite fan sites to launch recently was ArcheAge Furniture, showcasing the different craftables in the game.
You need to give me that URL. It's just ArcheAge Furniture, because
yeah. Although I kind of thought that's
I was looking for that the other day.
Yeah. No, I thought it'd be great. They could give out little fake Allen wrenches in the game, be like an IKEA of sorts. It'd be fantastic. But I did see one great question actually about gliders, which is great because we're actually still the episode actually is technically about gliders. We actually don't have 2-person gliders in yet.
That is correct.
I'm not sure if that's actually in the works.
I'm not aware that it is in the works. That's not to say that XL hasn't told me about it, but it's not in the near future. It's a kind of cool idea, though.
Yeah. Well, because you definitely have 2-person mounts.
Yes, there are definitely 2-person mounts.
Actually, dive a bit here.
So someone asked about, can you only have a farm if you are a patron? My understanding is that is currently correct.
Yes.
However, that does not mean that you cannot plant if you aren't a patron.
Correct.
So I intend to have any number of illegal farms up in the hills, which is not actually on owned land. And as long as no one finds it, or you kill anyone that does find it, you can grow whatever you want. It is an interesting game in that respect.
Yes.
Moreover, you can actually also, of course, share your housing. So if you do have someone in your guild who is patron, they can actually share their housing through through permissions granted through either guild or through family.
And if you're absolutely crazy enough, you can make your farm public.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I don't know why you would, but you can.
Yep. I saw somebody asking about PayPal. I don't think that we have it in place yet.
PayPal does exist.
PayPal does exist. Forgive me. I got that wrong. My bad.
If you have any questions or any issues with the subscriptions, you can go ahead and email us. I'm going to give the email out. This will be a little crazy. It is alpha@archeagegame.com, and we will have folks there ready. Well, not have folks. We have folks currently. They're ready to help you.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Is that about it?
I think we're about it.
Yeah, we should have that ability. I believe all we have to do is actually type !contest.
Ooh.
Where?
In the, Let's see, it should be actually in the chat over there.
In the chat over here.
Yep.
All right.
Give it a
So
shot.
we think we have a new raffle off thingy. I hope this works. And exclamation point contest?
Actually, with no space.
No space.
That's going to trigger the bot. Should trigger the bot.
All right.
Okay. Moment of truth.
Moment of truth. I will say,
I'm driving to the wall.
If you don't drive into the wall. If you have,
Eyes on the glider.
I got it, guys. I typed that, not you.
No, that's for us to type.
It's for us to type.
It won't work for you guys.
What have you done?
All right, but I don't know where it went.
All right. Well, let's see. I imagine I can actually hear Cole running on down to assist.
I can just hear the oh no.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I know. I apologize, and I remind people this is only our fourth live stream on our own.
Fourth on our own.
Well, third completely.
Actually,
on
no,
our own.
completely on our own. You're right.
And I'm not seeing the thingy that says.
Nope. Too low.
It's not that right.
No, it should be the bot actually yelling at us.
Okay. I did see a question as I'm scrolling down through all of the contests that we are the Rift microtransparency, Rift credits cannot be used in ArcheAge. They're different games, they're different developers. We're not crossing the streams. Things will explode.
I also saw a good question about actually upgrading between ranks. I think it's something we want to support and should have at some point. In fact, here's Cole.
Cole to the rescue! Cole,
Yay.
Exclamation point winner.
Winner, not
Winner,
contest.
not contest.
None of you do it.
Yeah, none of you do it.
This is for me, not y'all.
Right. Don't spam the thing.
Space?
Now, Nightbot should.
Where's Nightbot? We said it.
There, go into Open Chrome. Do it in here.
Ah.
All right, I did it in the wrong window.
Someone called out winner just ahead of us.
Come on, Nightbot. I know there's a lot of people on here.
Try hitting the top of the gate
Yeah,
Yeah, can you hit the top of the gate?
to your left.
it's in my left.
There you go. Those two big mountains there.
Can do.
This,
Oh, that.
Do I need a space?
no, that should work.
I think I'm on the right trajectory.
Oh, crap.
Who knows if you got enough time though.
I don't know. Actually, I do know.
So this is one of those gliders that makes it very easy to reach the tops of things, whereas many other gliders just don't have the altitude gain that this does. And it's a very difficult climb of boosting and landing on rocks and boosting and landing on rocks till you can get to the top.
I think what I love is actually ArcheAge is going to be one of the first games where you'll have a flying mount and you actually go down and say, I can see my house from here.
Yeah, it's really kind of cool. I had a lot of fun on one of them that where I actually needed to get to the other side of the map from where I was, and I realized I was right next to
There we go. We
hill.
got a winner.
Yes!
Okay.
We got a winner, guys.
All right.
Scroll up.
It did work.
Yazoo
Yazoo!
It's a lot of H's.
currently follows.
Great.
Yes.
So we'll,
Channel.
Awesome! So Yazoo, welcome to Alpha. We
We're-
will, if you can go ahead, one of us will...
Thank you.
we'll follow up with you
We'll follow
via
up with you.
the Trion Worlds account on Twitch and ask you for your account details. But congratulations and welcome to Alpha.
Sweet! I'm going to steal Kendall's pen here because I didn't bring a piece of paper this time.
Yep, because that's a lot of H's to
That's a
remember.
lot of H's.
So what can you tell us about the gate that we're coming up on?
So this is the Solsrian Gate. According to the lore of the game, it was created by the Mage King that settled this area. One of the first great works that his people helped to build there. It is currently having some trouble, which you'll find out as you play through the campaign. But it is a very cool looking object in the game that you can fly
Absolutely.
around and land on if you'd like.
I will do my damnedest.
Is that the gate that I refuse to help? Yes, that is the gate that I refuse to help.
You didn't help rebuild the gate?
No, I didn't.
Terrible.
I just ran right through it.
You just, yeah.
These people need your help.
I know.
The little NPCs like down there, they're working day and night.
They're working. They don't need me. They're fine.
I see how it is.
It's ArcheAge. I get to do what I want.
Very true.
Somebody
So-
asked a quick question about can you share patron status? You cannot, but you can share a house. So Scapes mentioned it earlier. You can set permissions for folks so that it's only the people that you want will have the ability to go ahead and use that house. They can use the land around it for planting. You can use any crafting facilities that you've put in the house, so you can set that all out.
Yeah. I did see a question about the duration of Founders Packs, how long they'll be available for.
So the plan is that they will be available until launch. So the Founders Packs will be available through Head Start. If you choose to purchase a Founders Pack during Head Start, you will get the rest of the Head Start.
Sorry, I'm just grinning. This is pretty cool.
That's very pretty, actually. That looks really
I could
cool.
do this all day.
Try and boost up and land on the top of it.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, but to get that glider legitimately.
That was a
Oh,
boost.
that is not
That's
boost.
not boost.
How you doing, bud?
There's more for
Not
me.
that well. Not that well.
No.
That's the wrong key.
No. R is not
T.
the right one.
Not R. T.
Well, that's
So,
probably a good start.
So on that note, but actually I think we got 2 more giveaways to do.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
All right.
For so we're going to use our working system now.
Well, okay, so Cole got it to work. Let's see if I can get it to work.
Don't mind me, I'm resting. It's been a long day for him too. All right, now he's up.
All right, I said it. I did it.
Woof.
Come on, Nightbot.
There it is.
Where is it? Did I miss it?
We showed up in the chat.
Which chat? Could you guys stop typing for a second?
I don't think that's going to happen.
Not likely.
All right, I'm going to have to go back through the chat and figure out who won.
Yeah, we can do it
All
that
right.
way. And then just the third then.
And then I'll go ahead and trigger the third
So
one.
you'll want to click, there you go. All right. So we should see it scroll up in just a sec.
As we all
Since
stare
we're all
at the
spamming.
screen.
The suspense is killing me.
No,
I
just
know.
never tell them the commands that don't work for them ever again.
Well, they're actually
Note to self.
At least they're using the one that works.
But doesn't, because it doesn't
But
do anything for them.
Seem regularly.
We'll
It
never
doesn't help
never
them.
be able to forget it though.
No, not after this one.
Yep.
There we go. Malfunction, I think. Something like that.
Yep.
We will go back through the
Contact
chat
you
logs
afterwards, yeah.
and contact you afterwards and get your information from you. So
I appreciate the
should be
assist to
very
that
cool.
copy pasta. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
There we go.
Is there playable mode during the download, or you have to download everything? ArcheAge is not a streaming supporting game, so you do have to download everything.
And again, for those wondering, we'll go back and find the middle one. Not to worry.
Yes, we haven't lost you, I promise.
Great.
Awesome.
Do we see any last good ones to ask here?
Any questions?
There's a question, actually, if you scroll up a bit, there was a question about barrel plus teleportation, but I'm pretty sure those are separate gliders.
They
To
are
my
separate gliders.
knowledge, yeah, the glider that has teleportation does not have the barrel roll, at least the one that we showed today.
Yep.
Winner 2 was not following. All right.
Really?
Okay, Nightbot says that guy. So where was the other one? I know, this is crazy. I need a search. Is there a search?
Do you want to...
I'm sorry, I'm delaying you guys. I'm such a pain here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and roll another one, and if you are following, you will get an alpha award. If you are not following, you won't.
So I suppose worst case, there's 4 winners.
Worst case.
we're
Shucks.
running
That,
4 winners.
jeez, that would be so terrible.
I
I'll
think
deal
we
with
can
it.
survive that.
I'm never going to make that mistake
We
of the R button
sit there
again.
And wait, because Nightbot has to get through everybody who's logged in, all 4,000 of you.
All right, it has been 3 people now. We can probably stop with the
Yes.
spam.
We are done with the giveaways. We've given away either 3 or 4. We have to go back and search through the logs and make sure we find out who that.
You just watch. Next week we're going to have to remind them, guys, don't.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yes, please stop spamming.
Would hate to have to moderate the chat.
I would really hate to have to moderate the chat.
Yep.
There was a question that flew by. Thank you for the question in another color. That helps with the spam.
Well, that's an emote, but yeah.
So the end game look for ArcheAge. Really, the end game in ArcheAge is sort of what you want to make of it, kind of like the rest of ArcheAge. There are castles that you can participate in, sieges you can participate in, a lot of open world PvP. You can also become the best tailor on your server or alchemist on your server or both, whatever it is that you're looking for. So you can really be kind of whatever it is you want to be. I will point out, because we've had a few people comment on this. ArcheAge is a PvP game. There are significant PvE elements, and we have folks who hate PvPing and they really enjoy ArcheAge. So there are ways to work with it, and the game is set up to allow PvE players to really enjoy it. But it is a PvP game. So at the end game especially, if you're not careful, you can run into other people.
And again, you can be, the master crafter for your guild. You
Yep.
could be the person who, leads people on resource collection missions. There's all sorts of things you can do other than PvP. However, at the same time.
Yes.
So there are multiple areas in the game. In fact, the entire section of each continent where you are doing your campaign, kind of the story of the game before you go out and do whatever you'd like to do, those areas are protected by whatever continent you're sitting on. So the opposing faction cannot attack first in those areas. So I know someone who very much likes just the story and the farming aspect, and she intends to never leave those areas and basically play a much cooler version of Farmville on the small section of this.
Right.
I don't like that, so I'm going to leave those areas and steal from people. You could also be a mercenary guild as your end game. You can lend your services to other people to protect their trade runs. There's all sorts of things that could be your end game that aren't necessarily the one thing everyone else is doing.
So we've got the map up here so you can see the areas that are circled in red are in some level of threat. So that's where a lot of the PvP is going to happen. And any area that's in peacetime is, as Kendall said, somewhere that you can't initiate if you're on the other faction. So those areas are safer. And it actually changes, the different zones go through different phases. So if you look at your map, you can probably get to every zone at some point if you want to make sure that you are completely away from PvP. At least on the lower two continents.
So hopefully that answers the questions about endgame. I mean, you can, if you would like, avoid PvP.
Yes.
It is a large aspect of it at the end, though.
I will warn folks who are streaming, I highly recommend you take steps to make sure that people don't know where you are if you don't want PvP.
There's delayed feed. There's ways to block the map.
Yep.
Definitely steps that can be taken. But in the end, we are talking about a PvP title. Let's see.
Wow, so many questions.
Yeah, somebody else actually asked a really good one earlier about for people who want to go that crafting route. Actually, if if they're able to mark their goods in some fashion. And the good news, and actually I should still have my axe from the previous one if I go to my weaponry here.
Oh, the axe that you made on the
So actually, if you see here, the crafter is listed. So you can definitely become the best crafter of weaponry, of armor, of well, really any of the things you can craft on your server. So that is another option for you crafters out there.
So cool.
Yeah.
I think we might be good.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing the question about if you go for the Arcane Pack but you're already in Alpha, what happens then? I don't believe we're letting it be an Alpha invite you can grant at this point.
Right. It's currently not something that you can grant.
Which actually, though, is a good connection to another question that was asked, which was about gifting. And again, it's something which we want to have, but just don't have it quite yet.
The other option was about upgrades. We are going to be adding the ability to upgrade Founders Packs. It's not quite there yet.
We wanted to get these up as quickly as we
As
could.
quickly as possible. Make sure that,
When we said soon, we weren't
meant
kidding. We
soon.
really meant it. We only use that when we really mean it.
So someone was concerned about the patron status from the packs not lasting throughout the alpha and beta phases. If that were the case, you could always have some friends buy the packs at different points and then share those farms during that time.
You actually don't need to worry about it.
All right.
Because if you buy the packs with patron status, you will have patron status through alpha and beta.
Then that question is super easy to answer.
It's an even easier answer.
Yes.
Time until beta, again, as we mentioned, we're aiming for June.
Also, I just want to point out again, I know I mentioned it earlier, but alpha is going to run through open beta. The beta is running on different servers, and it's going to be so it's going to be parallel. So if you get into alpha now, you can continue to play on alpha through open beta. If you get into the beta events, you can continue to play on the beta events, and you can do both if you want to do both.
I just realized while I'm soaring here, fancy free, there actually is a timer on how long I can
Yeah,
do
there
this.
is. It's gonna.
I'm just going to drop out of the sky.
10 minutes
We
for
got,
this one,
got
yeah.
2.5 minutes left, so
And down to the ground goes Scapes.
let's see.
I
I think we've really
think-
tackled the big ones. That said, if there are more questions you guys have, feel free to ask them on the forums. We'll be jumping on there probably right after this.
Yep.
And beyond that, thank you guys for joining us. And thank you also for those who have already bought your Founders Packs. We're already seeing them go. So that's really,
This
really
is
exciting.
awesome. Yes.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you in Alpha. And for those who are going to be joining us in Beta, looking forward to that coming up again. Not that far to go.
No, not at all.
So, I guess signing off before I drop off this glider
Again.
Hey, thanks for joining us, and
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on the show. And
Pleasure to kind of meet all of you.
yeah,
Yeah, and you should come back again.
We'll see.
cool.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.